Hey guys, and welcome back to Fringe Friday. I am Carmen, and today we are delving into Season 5, Episode 9. We are getting too close to the series finale for my liking, but I don't really have a choice but to keep chugging on. I have to know how it ends, one, and just even saying how it ends makes me like upset because it's ending. But we're gonna put that on the back burner for like a couple more episodes. So last time we had what did we have? We found the second, or like the fourth piece of the puzzle. So we are one step closer to putting together the plan for defeating the observers. What that plan is, it still eludes me, you know. I don't have another theory yet, or a new theory, except for my original theory of, you know, time travel. Yeah, I don't know how the little boy's gonna fit in, or the giant electromagnet. I don't know how the quartz, or the eggs, or... Anyway, I don't know how it all fits together yet. I'm sure that Fringe will tell me, and I'll probably feel like an idiot for not putting it together, but that's okay. We also had, thank goodness, Peter being Peter again, right? He came to his senses. Olivia convinced him that feeling and emotion and love are worth everything, you know, and that's the only way to keep Etta alive. And so he took the tech out of his head, and he is no longer Observer Peter. He's simply Peter again, which is so amazing. I have a feeling that if this season was like the full 21 or 22 episodes, we would have had a few more episodes or a longer arc of him with the tech, and that could have been really interesting to explore. But also the selfish part of me that wants Peter to be Peter is really happy that that storyline, I feel, got cut a bit short. Because, you know, as great as it is to see Joshua Jackson flex his acting muscles, this is the last few episodes I have of these characters that I love so much. I'm not gonna fucking cry. Sorry, I'm trying to convince myself not to cry before the episodes even started. That does not signal good things. But I'm just selfishly happy that for these last few episodes, I get Peter Bishop as the Peter Bishop that I've known and fucking adored for 4 seasons now. Anyway, I think that I'm done rambling at you guys. I think that you know where we are. We're trying to find tape, whatever it is now, and put the pieces together. We gotta find a little observer boy. We gotta figure out a way to take out Windmark, and we gotta figure out a way to take out the observers. And most importantly, we can do that with Peter being Peter. Let's get into it. Oh, it's the radio thing, right? That he left them. It's doing something now. That means we're gonna get Peter, or not Peter, Donald maybe, and the boy. Where's Walter?
It's beautiful.
Oh, I thought he said the air, but I mean, she's beautiful in general.
Did you fix this radio? Because it's picking up a signal.
Yes, that's important.
It's beautiful.
Is he high? Is he smoking something? He can't sleep. Oh, I thought he was naked for a second. Sorry, that has nothing to do with anything, but...
Walter.
Peter's like, what you doing?
Walter.
Who are you?
Walter.
Are you tripping?
He is, but who is he saying?
Most definitely.
Who is the blonde?
Colonel Warren is here.
Who?
My old dead lab assistant is here to haunt me.
Oh.
The one that was burned in the fire.
Yeah, no, I know who you're talking about.
The radio's picking up a transmission we think is from Donald. Do you recognize it?
Okay, I ran prelims on the transmission through my encryption.
That's interesting. We haven't talked about her in seasons.
When I finished the plan to defeat the
That's when she'd take the brain out.
She would help me remove the pieces of brain that they put back in.
Oh, gosh. That's kind of messed up of her.
He knows where I was going.
Who knows, Walter?
Other Walter? Is
The
that-
Walter that was.
Yeah. Okay. He's remembering. This is very, Scrooge, Ghosts of Christmas Past, right? Who's the red one?
Have to go on foot from here, but the transmission's definitely coming from that direction.
Well, how far out?
Guess we'll find out.
The signal's so strong. Guessing not more than a couple hundred yards.
I'm more than a little embarrassed, you know.
Oh, that's so
You
cute.
don't have to say anything.
I do. I don't deserve you. I'm just so lucky. I'm so incredibly lucky to have you.
Wow, this is so cute. It terrifies me. This is very cute, and I'm very nervous now.
Peter?
Oh my God. I really thought like he was about to get shot or something. I was gonna be very upset. Okay. Okay.
It was an observer.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Are they all observers?
Peter? There are two more over here. Another observer and a loyalist.
He left that, right? Good.
Looks like they were killed during a firefight. Based on the decomp of their bodies, I'd say 10, 15 years ago at least.
I was gonna say, it's been a while. They do not look fresh at all.
I think we just found Donald.
No! Why do we think it's Donald? Well, what happened to
Liv.
the boy observer then?
Well, if Donald's been dead all these years, then where's the signal coming from?
And who has the little boy?
Right over there.
Maybe he escaped and hid. Why would he go there though?
The body behind the wheel? It isn't Donald.
Oh, Sam!
It's Sam Weiss.
Walter.
Sam!
Looks like he was trying to protect the signal relay from the radio transmission.
Wow, I didn't think they would bring Sam Weiss back.
He once told me, there is no God in this lab but me.
Mm-hmm.
He is not me. Tell her, Nina.
He's right. That Walter would think nothing of going off on his own to New York right now. He'd share all his secrets with the observers, demonstrate his unequaled brilliance. A man of your staggering intellect and vision would be recognized by the observers.
No, I doubt. What the fuck is that?
I don't understand.
That makes two of us.
What is this?
Why don't we look at it?
Put it back, Walter.
It's your life's work. The work I came to burn the night that I died.
Oh my god.
What is Black Umbrella? Why is it in my head?
I don't.
Would you care for a top-off, sir? I have the purple microdot, or would you like to stick with the black blotter?
Oh, is he?
Don't mind if I do.
Is he still in the lab?
Excellent choice.
I assume he's still in the lab based off that. But like, Walter, you need to get off of these drugs, not keep taking them.
What's wrong with him?
He's fine.
Here you go.
It's at the end of the dock. But easy on the choke, because you flood the engine if you give it too much gas.
All right, let's go, Walter. That island, that's where we're going, Walter.
Is that where Donald is?
That confused
We're
the
gonna
fuck out of
find
me.
out.
He's going to fucking
Why?
the place in Wicked.
You have papers?
Yeah, right here.
Okay. You just killed a lot of people.
Come on, Walter.
Good shot, good shot, good shot.
Why are these mice shooting at us?
Okay, good shot, Olivia. Good job. Run, 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 run. Hopefully they don't have to check back in with anybody in like a speedy length of time.
There's no Donald here.
Who are you?
Have you ever seen this man before? You recognize him?
I don't know who you are, but I suggest you turn around and go back where you came from.
Oh.
Astrid. You see him? The child observer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's him.
Maybe this guy is just trying to protect him.
Richard?
Richard.
Who are these people?
I have it under control,
Who are
Carolyn.
you?
Go back inside.
Who are y'all?
We're here because of a man named Donald. You know him? He left a radio for us, and this morning it started transmitting a signal that led us here.
Put the gun down.
I think that they're trying to protect this kid, but I don't know.
Richard. We knew this day could happen. That one day someone would come for him.
Yeah.
You said you picked up a radio transmission. Then you know it contained a message with a password.
But the message was in code. We couldn't crack it.
Donald said
Maybe
the
Walter
person he
knows
left
it.
the radio for would know
Walter
the
will
code.
know it. Walter will
If
know
you
it.
are who you say you are, tell me the password.
Come on, Walter. Come on, Walter. Come on, Walter.
Tell me the password.
Beethoven. Gene! They brought Gene back. That's Gene. Okay. Black Umbrella. Oh, maybe that's a...
Black Umbrella. Black Umbrella. That's the password. Black Umbrella.
You seem like you're lowering your gun, sir.
I think you better come inside.
All right, how do you know Donald? Who the fuck was Donald? How did you get this child? Like, there's lots of questions.
Before he left, he gave us this. We had to turn it on every 5 days at the same time so it could broadcast a coded message.
If you were still alive, you would get the message and come for the boy.
That was over 20 years ago.
So the boy has not aged at all in
Doesn't
20
speak.
years?
He hasn't aged a day since he came to live with us.
That's interesting.
We call
So,
him Michael.
There's my theory.
There were times when I thought about not turning that signal on anymore.
Oh, Michael.
Selfishly, I wanted to keep him here with us. This is the hardest day for me. I never doubted that Michael was important. That he was meant for something great.
He's like your son, though. You love him. That's so cute. Dang, so Donald did not keep that kid in the Pocket Universe for very long at all. I wonder why he got him out.
Do you remember me?
He does, from season 2. Right?
You met us in a different timeline.
Was it season 1?
How could he possibly remember you?
Observers experience time differently.
Mm-hmm.
The journal doesn't matter. Even if you burn it, it's too late. Now that you remember all the things you're capable of.
Walter, you got the boy back. You've got to continue. You've got to keep fighting.
I
Yes.
think we both know you're too tired to do that.
Girl,
There's
shut
nothing
up.
to burn. You've been him longer than you've been you.
That doesn't matter. You can choose who you are. You can always choose. I don't know. I really like what they're doing with Walter, and I like that they're having him have this internal struggle. And like I said in the last episode, I think that if the internal struggle ends with Walter being fully integrated with himself again, realizes that he gets to choose who he is, then I think that that's going to be a really powerful storyline that they're telling with Walter, and the power of, you know, choosing who you are and having agency over your own fate. Because, and I'm not going to harp on this too much because I did talk about it in the last episode a lot, but we do all have good and bad inside of us, right? Like that, like, representation of evil and like the evil things that you've done, you know, quote unquote evil, and the representation of like the good things that you've done in your life. Like, I think that a lot of times we think of like good and bad and like ourselves as this sort of scale, right? Like, if I did this shitty thing and I feel really guilty about it, how many good things do I have to do to sort of like even out the scales, or like even tip them into the flavor into favor of good, right? So I can say I'm a quote unquote good person. But just like one shitty or bad deed doesn't make you a bad person, like one good deed isn't going to make you a good person. I think that inherently, by being human, we are all good and bad, right? And so, yeah, sure, Walter has that in him, and his intellect and his pride may bolster that. It may exacerbate his worser qualities, the things that he's less proud of. And the absence of those parts of his brain might elevate the good qualities in him and make him err more on the side of like care and compassion. However, I think that it's also, wait, what the fuck am I talking about? There was a point, I had a point with that. Anyway, I genuinely lost my, I was going somewhere with that. I lost it, like, almost at the finish line. My point is, like, there are certain things that you can do that will, oh yeah, I remember now. His intellect and his ego might, exacerbate the bad qualities and make him more inclined to go towards the dark side, right? In the pursuit of excellence, in the pursuit of greatness, right? Like, there's this line in, like, BioShock, if you've played it. If not, it's not a huge spoiler, so don't worry. You should play it, though, because it's an amazing game, great game series, probably my favorite of all time. But in BioShock, like, Andrew Ryan, who's a character, is doing this propaganda bit, and he says, like, he created this new city. Don't worry, it's at the very beginning of the game. But like, where the great will not be confined by the small, where like petty morality won't get in the way of like scientific endeavors, right? So my point in saying all of that is that Walter kind of was going towards the side of like petty morality, which I don't think is petty, but like getting in the way of scientific endeavors, right? So he was willing to do anything in the name of like science and greatness, right? But he did ultimately, and you guys can let me know if I'm misremembering, but he did ultimately, well, I mean, he took his parts of his brain out, right? But he also, before doing that, like, I feel like he tempered Belle's worst instincts, right? Like, in the original timeline that I'm thinking of, and it's confusing because timelines are confusing in this show, but like the first couple seasons, that timeline that we saw, I feel like that was what happened, right? And then even in this new timeline, he also like went against Belle, even if it was his idea originally. Like, he didn't choose to keep pursuing it. Now, is it because he took those pieces of his brain out? I don't know. I can't answer that. But like I keep, running around to the point of what I'm trying to say, is I think that the idea here, or what they're trying to show, again, I'm not going to put words in their mouth, this is just my interpretation of what I've seen so far, is that Walter believes that it was taking those pieces of his brain out that made him the man he is today. He thinks it's the absence of fully integrated him, right? So his fear is that when he becomes fully integrated again, that he is going to turn back into that person. I personally feel like he wouldn't, because he's a different person now. And even then, I would argue that like he had all of those elements of good inside him that he wasn't paying attention to, right? Like, the reason that he did everything he did is out of love of Peter. A bad person doesn't do that. Now, there's obviously iffy gray area in what he did, like once Peter was back and he was getting older, and I remember way back in season 1, there was like talk about like Walter doing experiments on Peter growing up and stuff like that. So obviously that's, complicated. But my point is that I think that Walter doesn't give himself enough credit for his capacity for good. And I hope that where they're going with this storyline is that once he becomes fully integrated, he can choose good and he will choose good. And it will be like this really meaningful story of Walter coming full circle and having the power to do whatever he wants and still choosing to do the right thing. Right? That's all I'm gonna say. I know that I took a really long time to get there. But yeah. I don't know. I really liked the weird stuff they did in this episode. Just, you know, when Walter's tripping and everything. Obviously the CGI isn't like incredible quality because it's television and it's, you know, the early 2010s. So, you know, but it's still fun. It's still fun. And I think that, like, because he's on acid, like, you can also be like, yeah, it makes sense that he would see, like, really weird shit that doesn't look all that real, right? I, in particular, like the cartoon claymation, I'm not really sure, sequence with Jean. Because, one, we've acknowledged Jean. We've acknowledged Jean. I miss her. I loved her. Wait, did we have her earlier this season? Was that last season? It was not this season. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted. Anyway, okay, what else do I want to talk about? One, I'm a little bit worried about Peter because of the headache that he mentioned. Like, it seems kind of... seems like they included that for a reason, right? Unless they're just showing us that Peter is struggling post taking the technology out, in which case I understand. I fear that they're showing it for a reason, and it stresses me out. Just like the moment where they were in the forest and they're being cute as fuck, like, you know, OTP moments, essentially, which only makes sense if you know shipping terms, but like they were just being adorable and it was so cute and happy, and like I want to be so cute and happy for them, you know, like I wanted to just be like, oh, it's adorable, but like my stress levels were like, they fucking spiked way up. My heart probably started racing if you look on my watch. Like I was very stressed during that moment. But yeah, I've said it before, I will say it again, I'll say it until Jean comes home. I need this to have a happy ending, okay? I just need it. I just need it. I just need it for my soul and my heart and my soul and my happiness. Yeah. Also, I think it's really fun that they brought Sam Weiss back into this. I mean, sure, it was his dead body, so we don't actually get to see him or anything. But I think it's a cool, like, tip of the hat to, like, the past seasons and just to get to see him. I'm also super fucking curious about who Donald is, especially because we still haven't seen Donald. Donald remains this elusive little fucker, and I have theories. Is it September? I don't know. Is it Peter? Is it Peter? Like Peter just going by a different name from a different timeline? I just, like, who are you, Donald? And you have to be somebody that we know, because I just don't think that there is any other reason that they would continually not show us Donald's face. Are you a nil? Who are you? Who the fuck are you? I need to know. Please don't tell me. No one tell me. This is, please know that these are rhetorical questions that I do not require or need answers to. I'm sure the show will show me. I'm sure it will. I am just like, who the fuck is Donald? Because this bitch is hiding. Also, I don't think that Michael ever talked in the episode that we saw him in previously. Maybe he did. I remember that he didn't talk for a while, at least. I'm curious how he's going to communicate. I'm curious as to why he is still a child after over 20 years. I mean, because we know he wasn't in the Amber, right? These people, Richard and Carolyn, have been raising him for 20 years. Well, raising is a weird word because he hasn't grown any. They've been with him as his parents, pseudo parents. They're his parents.
I found this on the web.
Literally for the past 4 reactions, my fucking watch has done that. Anyway, why is he not growing up? Why is he not growing up? Why is he not growing up? Like, none of the other observers are perpetual children, so that's interesting. Still don't know his part in all this. Still don't know what the ultimate plan is. I still have not figured out what an electromagnet, this child, quartz. We still don't know who the dove is. That is still a question. I thought it was Broyles, but maybe not. I don't know. Yeah. I'm still trying to rack my brain for what the plan could be. And aside from my initial idea of somehow they're going to go back in time and then defeat the observers before they ever come, or maybe even go forward in time, stop the observers from ever coming back. Although it's like, again, you guys, every time I try to postulate, I get wrapped up in the idea that there's like a paradox, right? Because we're like, if we stop the observers from ever coming back, then there's no reason that we ever went forward or back to stop the observers from ever coming in the first place. And then did we stop September and August? Did none of that happen? Because if we stop the observers before they ever come back, are we only stopping them like from the time they came back in 2015? Or are we stopping them from the time they ever came back? Because then again, we're stopping September, and then none of this would ever happen because September saved Peter. Sorry, I just had like a horrific thought that what if, I mean, surely they wouldn't do that again. I was gonna say, like, what if the only way to stop all of this, like all of it, is for Walter to never go to the other universe to save Peter? I don't like that. I don't like that. Ignore that. Ignore that idea. I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do. I'm interested to see more of Walter's conundrum with himself and his sort of like battle with himself play out. I want Olivia and Peter to fucking get their happily ever after. I want Peter and Olivia to get their happily ever after. I want Asher to be happy. I'm having like really bad heartburn, sorry. Broyles to be happy. I wish that we got more of Broyles in this season because it's the last season. I would love to see more of him, to have seen more of him up to this point. Yeah, that makes me a little sad. Yeah. Sorry, my throat's hurting, so I need to stop talking. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you want, you can like, comment, and subscribe if you aren't already. You can also watch the next episode right now over on Patreon if you're watching this on YouTube. While you're over there, you can also watch my entire full-length reaction to this episode, to every single episode thus far of Fringe. That will be over on Patreon as well. I hope to see you guys next week for episode 10. This is happening too quickly for my liking. We're getting to the end too quickly. I don't like it. Can we stop now? Wait a few months. Come back. Revisit. I just want to live with Fringe a little bit longer, you know. Anyway, sorry. I'll let you guys go. Until next time. Bye, guys.